Salma Hayek's husband is CEO of the luxury fashion group Kering, home to brands such as Gucci, Balenciaga. The website that he owns that sells children mannequins and weird paintings.
He seems to take great pride in surrounding himself with women in their late teens and early 20s.
Did we just discover Salma Hayek's shell company? They paid out $0 in 2023, which, by the way, that includes payroll expenses. No one got paid apparently, which I find very suspicious.
Salma Hayek loves the rich and lavish life, attending Balenciaga fashion shows and partying it up with the fellow celebrities. But Salma is just as evil as the next. She has deep connections to disgusting people who exploit children in the name of art. Salma has turned a blind eye to this, even though her billionaire husband is one of the most disturbing people within the industry. So let's get into it. Salma Hayek is a popular actress known for her beauty and her skills, but she's also a sick woman. I did a deep dive into her past and I found some really disturbing things, like her connection to Balenciaga, because her husband owns the parent company that owns this fashion line that time and time again does some really pervy things with children. Salma also has an interesting connection to Nicole Kidman. We've talked about her father before. He passed away in 2014, but he was a doctor in Australia who had a ring filled with children that he used and abused. Let's just say that Salma is connected to some of the most evil parts of Hollywood. Let's start off by talking about Nicole Kidman, because Salma and her have an interesting relationship. Both Nicole and Salma attended a Balenciaga show in Paris Fashion Week, and while they were posing for photographs, it seems like they had an awkward exchange, almost like an argument. Now, what would these two need to be arguing about at a fashion show? Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip together.
Salma, one more, please. One more, please. Ladies, please.
Oh, look at her face. You can tell she's like, oh, trying to deal with Nicole Kidman.
Nicole, please, with Salma. Oh, thank you.
This person writes, can the photographer stop talking so I can eavesdrop on their conversation better? One person added that Salma told the photographer she doesn't want to take it right after she pushed Salma's hand out of the way and was turning to leave. She's also saying goodbye to the other lady. Nicole just did not want to take a photo with her. Another person adds, it also sounds like at the end that Salma says, please, advice. And then Nicole gives a snarky, you don't need it. This person writes, I get that Salma was probably trying to direct her to pose for the cameras, but some people don't like to be touched regardless of the situation. So of course, people saw this interaction on social media and felt like there may have been some tension between these two. Notably, some fans pointed out that this was Nicole's first public outing after announcing her mother's death in early September, which could explain why she was a little bit out of it when talking to Salma. But I love our lip readers out there. They are able to look at a video and they can decipher what someone is saying. And we found someone who took a better look at this clip. Here is a TikTok of that.
Down this aisle, come. Excuse me. This way. Well, she responded, guess we'll have to find ourselves a good moment to talk. Yes, please. That's fine. That's cool. I remember. I hope she remembers.
Now, Salma and Nicole actually know each other through a combination of professional and personal connections. I feel like everyone in Hollywood knows everybody, but they have shared ties to Balenciaga. Salma's husband, François-Henri Pinault, is the CEO of Balenciaga's parent company, Kering, which has a lot of money. Nicole Kidman is a brand ambassador for Balenciaga, so another way that they are connected. Now, once upon a time, Nicole Kidman was married to Tom Cruise. Thank God she got out of that because of like Scientology, but also at the same time, I could totally see her being in it still. Well, Selma's very close to Tom Cruise, so everybody knows everybody. But when Balenciaga got in trouble, Nicole Kidman was pressured to address some of the controversial ads that they had ran. The luxury brand is being slammed for promoting inappropriate imagery of children. Also interesting that Nicole's father, Anthony Kidman, has these allegations of involving kids. We've actually talked about him before in a previous video that got age restricted, but not enough people know about Nicole Kidman's father. I mean, if this man raised her, then there's got to be something wrong with her, because he's a monster. And then he suddenly died from a fall or a heart attack in 2014. I feel like they got rid of him because he knew too much. It's giving Epstein.
What? Nicole Kidman's father was allegedly linked to an international cult. I thought her silence on this has been so bizarre because she was one of the main faces of this Balenciaga Gate campaign, and she still has it on her Instagram supporting. But her own father was said to have participated in an elite ring. Anthony Kidman was a clinical psychologist in Sydney, and he had passed away unexpectedly in 2014. And at the time of his death, a victim did come forward named Fiona Barnett. This is Fiona's statement on it. The main perpetrator of my Anthony Kidman is dead after I filed complaints accusing him of torture and murder of children in an exclusive Sydney file ring. As a child victim of mind control, I feel he's been sacrificed for failing to adequately program me. She did file complaints with the police department. Surprise, surprise, they went unheard. But they were supposed to look into his involvement in this ninth circle satanic child sacrifice cult. Every single thing about this keeps getting worse and worse.
As I mentioned, Salma's husband owns Kering, which is very, very powerful. There's a lot of money in that company because they own a bunch of luxury brands like Balenciaga. Well, one of our friends to the channel named Brittany emailed me back in 2022 with a bunch of receipts exposing another company that Kering owns. So it's similar to Balenciaga. Salma's husband owns it, and it's doing even more perverted things. Billionaire CEO François-Henri Pinault, the husband of Salma Hayek, has this company called Christie's Auction House. Christie's website features a series of art pieces by brothers Jake and Dinos Chapman, including mannequins of children with erect, you-know-what, and things that are like this. I don't want to say it, but they're putting buttholes in replaces of the mouth for like the little mannequins. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what art is because I don't understand how this is art, but they're creating these little figurines where they're putting wieners on it and buttholes instead of the mouths. Like what weird world is this? If you search up Jake and Dinos Chapman on Christie's, you'll find numerous mannequins made by them, which feature nude children and a bunch of genitalia. Like here's a figurine, we're gonna blur it a little bit, but it has a big wiener as the nose. And it looks like it goes for about 30 to 40, maybe $100,000. Someone's paying for this little like orange-haired kid with a big wiener as a nose. Here's another really disturbing figurine. We're gonna blur maybe like the middle section of it, but a bunch of like kids that are conjoined together. We also have another kid head with a leg attached to it. Here's another disturbing doll completely in the nude with again a weenie on the face. Oh my God, this one has like, it looks like a kid maybe just chopped up and hanging off of a tree. What is this? I can't even we're gonna blur a lot of, again, we have to blur this for YouTube, but I don't even know how to describe what the hell this one is. I kind of feel like we need a full-on investigation into anyone who's bought these art pieces. On the site, you'll also find a VHS film where two actresses are getting intimate with a severed adult male mannequin head with, again, that erect, face, a wiener on the face. It actually turns out that Salma's husband owns some of these art pieces. We're not entirely sure which ones, but he owns several of them. Like, where would you even put those in your home? One of my favorite TikTokers, Kyle, who has unfortunately passed away, used to cover blind items, and she did one involving Salma's husband. Here's what she has to share.
I found a highly anticipated blind item about Salma Hayek and her husband, Balenciaga owner, François-Henri Pinault. The fights are becoming legendary between this foreign-born, A-list mostly movie actress who's an Academy Award winner / nominee, and her very wealthy foreign-born husband. He seems to take great pride in surrounding himself with women in their late teens and early 20s, and knows it will cause a huge fight with his wife. Honestly, maybe they enjoy the fighting because they have not split, but at some point she's going to get publicly embarrassed. At some point, like we all already don't know already. And the related headline is Salma Hayek, teen daughter, steps on all smiles in rare ski vacation snap, looking for snow.
Now, thank God there are people calling out Salma's husband and their brand for selling these sick mannequins of children. I think it's promoting this kind of horrific behavior and also kind of normalizing it at the same time. Her husband, François-Henri Pinault, which I know I'm saying his name incorrectly, confirmed to own some of the artwork created by the Chapman brothers. He's proud of it. One person writes, wow, Salma Hayek and her husband must make a statement. I am outraged. This whole situation is so upsetting. I mean, I blurred the photos for you guys, but anyone who had seen them, you can't really go back from that. This person writes, the evil in this world is just sickening to my stomach. They get away with it because of money and power. There's silence in the media and celebrities aren't calling them out. Now, a lot of times whenever these brands like Balenciaga get in trouble, they'll go and they'll blame the photographer. This person writes, absolutely disgusting, but I'm sure it's just the photographer's fault, which is not true, but also they are an enabler, they're complicit in this. Now, because Salma's husband is so rich and powerful, he has all these companies below him, We were able to do some more digging and we found out that there's another company that Balenciaga and Selma are connected to that's equally as disturbing.
Did we just discover Salma Hayek's shell company? So this is a nonprofit that was formed in 2023, and I believe it's a branch of their global nonprofit, but their tax filings are ridiculously suspicious and we need to talk about it. So this nonprofit raised millions of dollars in 2023, held this whole star-studded gala. How much money do you think that they paid out? They were supposed to be holding this gala to benefit certain nonprofits. They paid out $0 in 2023, which, by the way, that includes payroll expenses, other kinds of programming, anything else. No one got paid, apparently, which I find very suspicious. And this gala was also listed in this tax filing for this nonprofit, so it's not like it was associated with a different kind of nonprofit. And they had negative revenue, which can signal internal losses or fund misallocation or maybe covering up other issues. They also made a $1 million loan to a disqualified person. That's a person who's in a position to exercise influence over affairs of the organization, I believe. This is a big deal. It's $1 million to a person like that. That's really inappropriate in my opinion. And they didn't disclose volunteers. Very weird. They said there are no employees. Who was doing all the work for this massive gala? Not all of the voting members of the board were listed as independent, apparently, and they worked 0 hours on this massive gala. Doesn't make any sense. What? So I looked into the organizations that were supposed to receive funds from this gala, and they did not mention this organization anywhere.